Time for another Cougar Insider Show here on MC22. My name is Cosmo, voice of the Cougars, and with me the Associate Director of Athletics, Drew Gazella. Drew, I almost said coach. It's been a while since I haven't had a coach before, but welcome.
It's nice to be here.
Yes, thanks for joining us. A lot of stuff going on. Obviously, the soccer teams both finished their regular season and tournament championships. It was fun to watch back-to-back conference titles won on our Marvin Owens Field last week. And really all 5 fall sports had a share or regular season conference championships. As we talked with Coach Burchard the week before, quite an honor for the athletic department to have those awards go to all those teams.
Yeah, it's a special time of year for them. They're always super busy at this time with the overlap of fall season as it translates into and transitions into the winter. But we're real excited about the success they've had.
Obviously, the women's team 20-1, just one loss on the year, and the men's team 17-2-2, finished at number 15 in the country. Women number 7 in the country. The men's last loss was Labor Day weekend. It's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that they had those 2 1-0 losses at the time to Mid-America Nazarene and to, now I'm forgetting, Missouri Valley. Yep. And at the time, both those teams were in the top 7 in the country, and are both in the top 25 and in the tournament. But they had 2 other ties, the tie to William Woods, obviously, and another one late in the year in non-conference play. But it took them, because of the tiebreaker, to win the tournament to get into the national tournament. But an impressive run for Coach John Klein, the 2nd consecutive tournament that they win, and they're back in the national tournament, and another now first for Columbia College. With all the addition of the sports teams, it seems like every year we add another first milestone. Both the men's and women's team will host an opening round match in the national tournament here at our Marvin on Saturday. Pretty outstanding.
I agree. It's as you mentioned, it's pretty unique that our men's soccer team goes 17-2-2 and have a quiet year.
Yeah.
I think they were really just the success of our women's team, the success that they had consistently throughout the year and being so highly ranked, took a little bit of thunder off what's otherwise just an unbelievable men's season. And as you mentioned, having the opportunity to host both games on Saturday and allowing our fans to be able to see those 2 teams who've had a great year compete at home with a chance to move on to the final site will be special for everybody.
And with the women's program in just its 6th season, I believe this is their 4th or 5th trip to the national tournament. And 2nd year in a row hosting that opening round. And again, it's not just another soccer game. I think we have to sometimes remind fans and soccer fans how big of a deal that actually is. There's only 32 teams left on both sides, and that opening round played across the country at schools around the country, and then those top 16 teams go to Orange Beach in Alabama for the women's side and Delray Beach in Florida for the men's side. But for the women's team, and I know Coach Klein's ecstatic because the last 2 years, the men's team was up in Ohio, the women's team was here. In years past, when the men's team hosted, the women were on the road somewhere, and so he had to make that decision. Okay, do I stay home with the guys' team? Do I travel to the women's team? Fingers crossed we get a local regional game somewhere in the opening round, but it hasn't been able to quite happen that way. But for them both to perform the way they did, he's going to be able to be here. The travel budget gets a little bit of a break at Columbia College, so that's good.
For now.
But both teams at home, one day the women will play at 1, the men play at 5, and both teams coming in are out of the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference.
Yep.
So the Siena Heights is the women's opponent at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, John and Meg and Gordon, their staff has worked really hard to try to get as much information about the schools that they could be facing. Again, finding out today who you're playing, and all of a sudden you're quickly trying to react and figure out what they do and how to compete at the highest level against those is always a fun time of year for folks that make it to the tournament.
Well, and interesting on the men's side, the scouting report, you don't have to go too far. And for the guys that were on the team a year ago, there's still a little sting to the ouster that they had in the opening round. They got beat 7-2 by Northwestern Ohio, the team that they're going to play here this time around. They won their conference championship. They're 14-5-1. The Racers come here, but last year in a snowy game, the Cougars, before they could blink, were down by a handful of goals and just could not come back. They ended up losing again, like I said, 7-2. So for the guys that were on that team, there's a little extra incentive, I think, to hold serve on your home court and return the favor and send the Racers back and instead punch your ticket and fly to Florida.
Yeah, there was no shortage of excitement when they saw who they were facing. I think sometimes you you look at the brackets once it's released, and you like, who are they?
Yeah, right.
And these guys, as you mentioned, who were on the team last year, looked and kind of clapped their hands and said, "All right, let's go." They were really excited to face somebody that they've already had.
Yeah, and Siena Heights there, though, on the women's side, they upset the women's Northwestern Ohio team in the title game. Northwestern Ohio on the women's side, the defending women's champions, lost in their conference tournament in an overtime game. So Siena Heights, obviously a team that's had a good season, and they knocked off the defending champs. So you can't look anybody lightly. Obviously, now we get into the brackets where one and done. You lose, your season's over.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on games now. I think the beauty of this, as you said, is you get the comfort of being at home, and your schedule and your timing is about where it needs to be. You know when to go eat. You know where you're sleeping the night before. You know your routine, and so hopefully that comfort level for all our teams will provide a good amount of support.
On that women's team a year ago, made it to the round of 8, so they won here in the opening round game. I have to be careful. I've been told not to call it a regional. It's an opening round, but they won at home, and then won one down in Orange Beach. Made it to the round of 8, and based on what we've seen all season long from this team against some of the best competition in the country, there's no reason to doubt the fact that this team could take that next step and even move to the Final Four or beyond.
Yeah, they're excited about the opportunity to play. There is something special about teams that do as well as they have all year. There's a chemistry about them. There's a passion of working together. And so between them and the men's group, I'm really excited to see how they fare as we wind down their seasons.
Well, especially on that, though, the women's team, and it's kind of been the storyline for this year especially, but even last year, with so many of the girls being from local schools here, high schools, and so many of them playing together on some club teams and against each other. And it's been a fun storyline when you have rivals like Jefferson City Jays and the Elias Crusaders playing, together. When you have a Caitlin Tamke passing the ball to a Jordan Poirier, and then you've got Rockbridge Bruins and former Hickman Cupies that were, bitter rivals in the high school district tournaments and beyond, and now, on the same team here. It's such a fun atmosphere with that women's. Not that the men's team is not, but there's something about the fact that, so many, 90% of the girls are from this local area, and their families are all here, and extended family here to watch them play all season, and now they get to watch them play in another tournament game.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hopefully they can go out on Saturday and get one more home victory and end their year at home on a positive note.
What's scary is the team scored 103 goals, and they've only given up 6. And 4 of those goals were in the 2-1 loss, their only loss to William Woods. And then the 2 earlier in the year to Olivet Nazarene, I believe, got 2 on them. And then they spread out a couple other goals. But Nicola Neto, the player of the year in conference, I think he was also newcomer of the year in conference, the big 6'4" goalkeeper. An interesting side note for the men's matchup, the goaltender for the Racers, Nicola is number 1 in the country in goals against average. Guess who's number 2? The Racers goalkeeper. So 2 teams that have been built from the back up and can score goals and play good defense. But if you love soccer, our Marvin Owen's going to be the place to be on Saturday.
Yeah, like I said, everybody's happy for the teams. They deserve to and earn to be at this position to have a game at home and in front of their home fans. So hopefully we'll have a great turnout, and hopefully we'll have 2 victories.
1 o'clock and 5 o'clock are those 2 matchups, and of course you can find more on ColumbiaCougars.com. We've got to talk about the volleyball team. Obviously, their run, regular season champs in the AMC, made it to the finals in that tournament there, lost to Park in Kansas City, but still earned quite a spot. And I know from talking with Coach Washington over the years, getting that first round bye in the national tournament is absolutely critical to having a legitimate chance. Not that teams haven't, but to really have a good chance to win that national championship again in Iowa, and to not have to play on that opening day is huge.
Yeah, just getting a chance to go straight to the final site is important for all those teams that have a chance to advance. Their season is so condensed, much like soccer, to have this gap to train, to practice, to get your body and your mind right, really gives those teams an advantage that goes straight there. But then, of course, when you get there and you start doing pool play, it's a whole different dynamic versus the one-and-done scenario of most sports. And so really, Melinda's done a great job of creating that template of how to march your way through a tournament. And so she does a great job of getting them mentally prepared for it, and they've done this enough to know how it works. And so hopefully they can get good seating as they advance into their pool, and then really kind of march through that event.
And in years past, hats off, especially to the conference and to schools and teams like Missouri Baptist and Park over the years, who won a title a couple years ago, and then MoBap was in the finals with the Cougars a couple seasons ago. Where in the past it was pretty much Columbia College at the top and then a couple teams in the middle, but now the AMC has really become one of the strongest volleyball conferences in the country.
Yeah, no doubt.
Certainly, whereas before, Coach would always talk about trying to schedule some tournaments early on to get an idea. Heck, now you just look in your own conference schedule and you're facing these teams a couple times, 3 times a season now before you get to that national tournament site.
Yeah, without a doubt. And just seeing the elevation of Park and Missouri Baptist and William Woods that narrowly missed the event this year. Going to your own conference tournament is a mini national tournament, which does prepare you very well.
Absolutely. Some other quick milestones as we kind of wrap up a little bit with Associate Athletic Director Drew Grisella, the golf team, men's golf team, into the top 25 for the first time in program history, and I know the cross-country team's heading for their runs at nationals as well.
Yeah, cross-country does leave, I believe, here in the next couple of days, so they'll head out either tomorrow or Wednesday and try to get acclimated to the time change. I think Coach Jex and Coach Radquick have made note of the 2 time zone difference that you have to adjust to as you get prepared, and then, of course, as you said, John Utley and Michelle Butler, his graduate assistant, have worked extremely hard this year to elevate both the men's and women's program, the golf programs, and having your first national ranking is really special, and I know that he's hoping that carries over into a successful early part of the spring.
And of course, both basketball teams off and running. Before we know it, we're going to be into baseball, softball, lacrosse is joining the fray, and more in the springtime. But basketball seasons are going for Coach Pasale on the women's side, Bob Burchett on the men's side, of course, and then the national tournament for both soccer hosting here this weekend. The women at 1 o'clock. And the men at 5 o'clock, both on Saturday the 18th. Come out and watch the Cougars. Drew, thanks for your time, and can't wait to see how these games all play out.
Not a problem. Go Cougars.
Right. Go Cougars. Don't forget all the programming to this show and many other things on demand for you right from your cable box. So again, Cougar Insider Show, the new look website too, ColumbiaCougars.com for more scheduling information on your Cougars. Thanks for watching the Cougar Insider Show here on MC22.
Video and music fans,
you don't have to settle for this. You can watch like this.
access apps like Pandora, YouTube, and Netflix right on your TV with Extreme, powered by Mediacom. Attention Mediacom Internet customers, are you ready to go even faster? Boost your speed from up to 60 to up to 100 meg for just $10 more a month. Or speed boost to up to 200 meg for just $20 more a month for 1 year. That's up to 3 times faster than you're going now. Whether you're uploading, downloading, surfing, or streaming, adding Speed Boost makes the time you spend online faster, better, and smoother than ever. Supercharge your internet for as little as $10 more a month for 1 year. Call 888-SIMPLIFY today.
The average family uses 7 internet devices at the same time. From online grocery shopping to online doctor visits to online fitness, we're more connected than ever. By 2022, a typical home could have 500 smart devices. That's why at Mediacom, we've increased all our speeds, and we're bringing gigabit speeds to every community our internet serves. So while technology is changing fast, we'll continue to stay ahead.
I was just doing my job.
Mediacom technicians are trained to do everything they can to help a customer. That's the power to simplify.
I was there to do a service upgrade, but I discovered that there was voltage on the electrical ground.
It really was a fire waiting to happen. The tech alerted the customer. They got an electrician over there right away.
When the customer called to thank me, I told her I was just doing my job. I'm Kip, and helping customers is what I love to do.
Eris, how long before everything is powered by the internet?
It's only a matter of time. The future will demand more speed, bigger bandwidth, and a whole new level of reliability.
At Mediacom, we're leading the way, and so is the entire state of Iowa. With gigabit internet now available in every community Mediacom internet serves, our cities are faster and more powerful than some of the biggest in the country. So bring it on. The future is now in Iowa. Video and music fans,
You don't have to settle for this. You can watch like this.
access apps like Pandora, YouTube, and Netflix right on your TV with Extreme, powered by Mediacom.